How many times have you felt pressured by other people's expectations? Have you ever stopped to think about how many decisions you made just to please others? Today, let's explore together some Buddhist teachings that show us how to find peace and happiness from the inside out, without depending on the opinions of others. If you feel like you're constantly seeking approval, that the fear of being alone paralyzes you, or that the judgment of others affects who you are, this video is for you. So let's begin this journey towards self-knowledge and inner peace. What to do when you need others' approval to be happy. How many times have you found yourself changing your tastes, your opinions, or even your choices to win other people's approval? Whether at work, family, or with friends, we always seem to want that feeling of you did the right thing from someone. But every time we seek this approval, we give up something in ourselves. Is there another way to deal with this? Buddhist lesson. Peace comes from within. Don't look for it outside. This teaching reminds us that true peace, the genuine feeling of being at peace with oneself, cannot be achieved with applause or external recognition. It is something that must be cultivated internally. What others think of us changes depending on the circumstances, but our connection with who we really are remains, as long as we cultivate it. Living in search of external validation is like trying to reach the horizon. You walk and walk, but it remains far away. When Buddha tells us to seek peace within ourselves, he suggests that we stop and observe what actually brings us joy and contentment, without getting caught up in the opinions of others. And when we feel complete, we stop chasing that approval that never comes. Practical action. Today, take a moment for a simple practice. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and reflect on something you really want to do or change in your life, but that you may have put off for fear of what others will think. Write it down on paper as a commitment to yourself, and put it somewhere you can see it every day. This is your reminder that the approval you seek must come from yourself. What to do when you're afraid of being alone. Have you ever felt that emptiness when there is no one around? Often, the fear of loneliness leads us to accept any company, to avoid silence, and even to move away from who we really are. Solitude is, for many, uncomfortable. After all, we are used to the noise and hustle and bustle of constant interactions. But is it that deep down what we miss is ourselves? Buddhist lesson. Meditate, live purely, be silent. Find strength in solitude. Buddhist teaching invites us to see solitude in a completely new way. Instead of fearing it, we can see it as an opportunity to strengthen ourselves and learn to enjoy our own company. When we live surrounded by distractions and external stimuli, it is easy to lose touch with our deepest feelings and our true essence. Being alone in this context is not isolation, it's a form of self-care. Meditating and practicing silence are ways of being present with yourself. By doing this, you begin to listen to your own inner voice, developing a kind of peace and strength that is not dependent on anyone around you. Learning to be at peace in your own presence creates a solid foundation for all your relationships. Practical action. Today, take at least 5 minutes to be silent with yourself. Sit in a quiet place, close your eyes, and pay attention to your breathing. If thoughts come, let them pass without clinging. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but over time, you will begin to find a new kind of comfort. This exercise, when done regularly, helps you create a deep connection with who you are, preparing you to face any situation with more calm and confidence. What to do when you feel like you're being judged. You know that feeling that, no matter what you do, there's always someone watching you, evaluating you, maybe even silently criticizing you. Other people's judgment can be suffocating. It makes us question who we are, leads us to act to meet the expectations of others, and often limits our potential. But do we really need to carry this weight? Buddhist lesson. Stop looking for faults in others. Focus on your own actions. This teaching is a powerful reminder. The more we look outward, trying to guess what others think of us, the further we move away from who we really are. When we stop focusing on other people's judgment and start focusing on our own actions and intentions, we free ourselves from this constant vigilance and anxiety. In Buddhism, the path to peace begins with acceptance. Accepting that others also have their own insecurities and often project this into their judgment of others. When we focus on doing what we consider right and living according to our values, other people's judgments lose strength. It becomes just background noise, something that doesn't define who we are. Practical action. The next time you feel like you are being judged, stop and ask yourself, am I acting in accordance with what I think is right for me? If the answer is yes, then you are on the right path. To reinforce this, write down daily one small action you took that aligned with your own values. This simple habit will help you build self-confidence that doesn't need external validation. What to do when you feel rejected? Rejection is one of the most painful experiences for human beings. Whether in our love life, at work, or in any other area, when we are rejected, we feel that something is wrong with us, as if we are not good enough. This pain can lead us to isolate, to doubt our worth, and to give up trying. But what if the rejection has a greater purpose? Buddhist lesson. Ultimately, only three things matter: how much you loved, how kindly you lived, and the ability to let go of what is not for you. This Buddhist lesson invites us to see rejection from a new perspective. Instead of seeing it as a reflection of our personal worth, we can interpret it as an opportunity to free ourselves from what wasn't really for us. Perhaps this experience is showing us that there is another path, one that is more aligned with what we really need and deserve. By practicing the art of letting go, we free ourselves from the pain and bitterness that comes with rejection. This does not mean denying our feelings, but rather acknowledging them and then allowing them to dissolve naturally, like passing clouds. Rejection can be an invitation to love ourselves more deeply and live with more kindness and respect for ourselves. Practical action. Today, think about a recent situation in which you felt rejected and reflect. Was this really what was best for me? Write about what you learned from this experience and what you could do differently in a similar situation in the future. Remember that every no could be making room for something that will be truly valuable and meaningful in your life. Accepting this possibility can transform the way you deal with rejection and help you build a healthier relationship with yourself. Today, we walk through Buddhist teachings together that help us deal with some of the most challenging feelings: the search for approval, the fear of loneliness, the judgment of others, and the pain of rejection. Each of these topics is an opportunity to reflect on our inner journey and realize that true peace and self-confidence come from within. In the end, what have we learned? We learned that happiness does not depend on the approval of others, that being alone does not have to be scary, that other people's judgment only has the power we give it, and that rejection can be a sign that something better awaits us. All of these teachings point to a central truth. When we know and accept ourselves deeply, we become steadfast. I leave here a special invitation for you. Take these reflections into your everyday life. Try the practical actions we share and observe how, little by little, these changes are reflected in your life. As you incorporate these teachings, you will notice that your view of yourself and the world around you begins to transform. Now tell me in the comments, which of these teachings made the most sense to you? How do you deal with these situations in your daily life? Let's learn and grow together. If you like this content, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos. If this video brought value to you, how about leaving a like and sharing it with someone who could also benefit from these teachings? This helps the channel grow and the message reach more people. And of course, if you're not already subscribed, sign up and activate the bell so you don't miss any content like this. Now, the journey continues. You can choose one of the 2 videos on the screen to continue exploring new teachings and practices. And if you're looking for something deeper and more practical for your everyday life, I've prepared an ebook with 30 quick Zen meditations that can transform your routine. The link is pinned in the first comment. Thank you for following me this far, and until the next journey,